If you start making policies based on the retail aspect in your clinic, you are doing yourself a disservice. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD podcast, we have two separate businesses in one. That's the beauty of optometry. We have a clinical practice, we have a retail optical. Are you making decisions based on optical outcomes that affect your clinical care? Don't make that mistake. Let me tell you what you need to be on the lookout for. This is the Ultimate OD podcast. Here we go. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD podcast. Thank you for the likes, the listens, all of the Ultimate ODs out there that are trying to make optometry a better place to work. I appreciate you guys. It's been 1 year since we've made the move to the new office. It's been really, really good. We've done a lot of learning, if you will, from staff to new doctors to myself. What do I do with my time? But I feel like we are stronger. We are stronger than ever, and just keeping the throttle down. We're not looking back. We're looking ahead, and things are going where I want them to be. Have a new doctor that will be coming on as soon as he graduates in May of 26. Dry eye clinic is growing, expanding, and I'm adding layers to what I do as CEO of the office. So that's a future episode will kind of explain that, break that down. But today I want to focus on the business of optometry. Okay. And this is something that came up. I was talking to some of my colleagues, my friends, and one of the questions or things that have come up are things that relate to optical and things that relate to your office in a clinical sense. What I want us to realize as optometrists in a private practice office, we have two separate businesses under one roof. Now realize that other health professionals would love to be in the position that we're in. They would love to have something to sell as well as a service to sell. Realize that we sell glasses and contacts. Optical is a business in itself. You see opticians that start their own practices, and what's the first thing they do? Hire a doctor, because they know if they have a doctor that does exams, they have a patient that needs glasses, you have the answer with glasses. Really awesome. But there's a different mentality in the optical. It's retail. And then we have our clinical practice. That's our medical office, right? And that medical entity can get a little twisted because there's managed care, but we have medical insurance as well, right? They are two separate businesses, and what I see happening a lot is that owners will get the two mixed and confused, okay? And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that's holding back your office, okay? We have to realize that the patient has two different mentalities. When they're coming to see you for their clinical exam, their visit, if you do things right, they see you as a doctor that's providing healthcare. Now, I get with managed care, they're like, this is covered. This is, should be, have an eye infection. Can you do that with my VSP insurance? No, we can't. They don't cover that. That's medical. That's on you to educate the patient the difference between vision and medical. And if they don't appreciate that, don't see them. That's fine, right? But there's that aspect. And the patient that's in the chair for that red eye is seeing you in a different light than when they walk into optical. And this is something that I had to do really early on in my practice. And it took me a long time, but separating myself from optical and clinical. I have patients, and you know these patients, that come in, they'll see you for the exam, they'll see you for medical, and they'll get a refraction, and then they leave. That used to bother the crap out of me, and I know it bothers all of you as well. The thing that happens, though, is you make bad policies based on what they're doing retail, not what they're doing clinically. Okay? When they are coming to see you as a doctor, if they keep coming back year after year, if they have a red eye, if they have something that happens, they're calling you. They trust you. They believe in you, right? There's a level of care that you provide that they see value in. Now, when you go out to optical, it's not you they're buying, right? It's Amazon, it's Zenny, it's every other interaction that they do on a daily basis. We go to Meijer, we go to the stores in our area, and we see, spray bottles. I'm like, what is the cost on Amazon? And I shop it. I'm like, I can get it tomorrow in a day if I just order on Amazon. I'll save X, Y, or Z dollars, right? That's nothing against Meijer. That's nothing against the store. That's how we operate. And you have to realize that's what they're doing. If you start making policies based on the retail aspect in your clinic, you are doing yourself a disservice. And the example that came up that I was talking to people about was there's offices that if they get glasses at another location, they'll charge to recheck their prescription. Okay, now think about that. They come in, they get an exam from you, you refract them, you give them the prescription, they go to your optical, don't like what they see, and they go somewhere else. Something's wrong with their glasses. They call and say, hey, something's wrong with the glasses, they don't work. Can you check my prescription? Do you charge in that instance? We would not. And this is my reasoning. My clinical expertise, the clinical aspect of what I do, is different than the retail. And I'm never going to punish someone because they don't buy glasses or contacts from me. Now, at the same point, I get frustrated too if they're just getting their $40 refraction and going. And we say that all the time. Wrong mentality, right? We have patients that we need in our office, and they have macular degeneration, they have glaucoma, they have dry eye disease. Get them in there, get them in your funnel, and do what you need to do. But that's how you take care of them, right? In my office, we find medical issues that are legitimate. We're helping out the patient, right? I want them to trust everything I do clinically and not think they're going to get nickel and dimed because they bought their glasses somewhere else. I'm going to do that RX check free of charge, right? There's a couple of reasons I do this. Number one, when I do that, they trust me. The other guy they bought the glasses from is talking crap about us, saying it's the prescription. It's not anything to do with their glasses. Well, one, it might be. Let's take a look. I'm going to come in. You got your exam for me. They know I'm going to take care of them clinically. If everything's the same, that's where I can give them the value of if they would have bought it from us. Oh, I don't think that frame's right. Or they use a lower end progressive. Yeah, measurements matter when you get them online. We're using the opportunity to get the patient in front of us again and give more value, right? If you're like, oh, it's another $40 to get refracted, well, didn't I pay for the exam? Like, something's wrong. And what if the prescription is wrong? What if you do find a change? You and I both know, dry eye, they had a bad day, they give you bad responses. It's the one thing in medicine where their response is really going to dictate what they get. Now, you're seasoned, you know what's going on, you can adjust and adapt. But what if it's wrong and you're charging them again? Now, I put a time limit on it, 90 days, right? If they call, circumstances vary, but I want them to abuse it to a point that I have to make the rule. I don't want the policy to be restrictive. Okay? The other thing I try to do, I don't want to be the least expensive guy in town. I want to have the most expensive patient care because that's what my care is worth. We operate at a higher level. And you're like, what are you doing differently? Why is your exam better than, RX Optical down the street? Well, one, we do retinal photos on every patient. Sure, they do too. We do anterior sec photos. We look at my meibomian glands. We look at their lid margins. We'll take video of their eyes and show it to them. Yes, on a routine exam. Because we have better care. Every time a patient comes to my office, they're like, man, you always have something new. We're trying to stay cutting edge, Mrs. Smith. We want you to have the best possible care. The more times they come into my office, the better, right? Now, if there's problems, I want them to know that I'm going to fix it, that we're easy to work with. If you're putting up barriers to working with you, what do they think is going to happen when they buy glasses from you? Now, you may have a bunch of policies that are really friendly to your patients that buy from you, but they don't know that. They know that they paid money to get an exam from you, and now you're charging them another fee. You go into optical, they're going to think there's more hidden fees. What are they not telling me? Don't be that office. That's not going to help you grow. So, from the clinical side, my advice to you is provide the best possible care you can. Take care of your patients. Stand by your care. That doesn't mean if they have a sty or an infection, you give them a med, it's not working, they come back in, you're going to charge them. That's medicine. That happens all the time to my parents, to me. If I get an infection, they give me an antibiotic, it doesn't work. Oh, yep, must not have been this. It looks like it's probably this now. And we accept it. That's clinical practice in action, right? That's how we practice medicine. This ruled us out, so we go here. We start with easy stuff, and then we kind of work our way up. If you hear hooves, think horse, not zebra. Go with the easy thing first. But there are some crazy things out there, right? Charge what you're worth, but make that a medical exam, right? The managed care patient is your patient. Take pride in that. Give them that best care that you possibly can. Now, when it comes to optical, that's where you operate like a business, right? But realize what the businesses are doing around you. Costco will take returns regardless of how long it's been, right? You have all these online opticals that you try them, see if you like them, send them back if you don't. You buy clothes online, and they're like, don't even return it if you don't like it because it's so cheap to get them online. It's more expensive for them to do the return, right? You're operating a business that's competing with all of that, and we want it to be easy. Just buy your glasses from us. Just get your contacts from us. You have to treat it like a business that's competing with all these other options around, with the Amazons, with the Zennies, with the corporate chains. Now, you can beat them. We do on a daily basis because we offer better care. They know if they come to you, you're going to take care of them. You're going to take some losses along the way, right? Not everything's going to work out perfectly, but I tell you this, you're going to come out ahead if you take care of the patient first, right? You can have that charge to adjust glasses that are not from your office. I do that, right? I'm not going to do that in my clinical practice. I'm going to treat that in a different light. But you have time, you have energy. If they get glasses online, we're not adjusting those. We're not putting screws in those frames. We don't deal with online frames. That's there. If you have a red eye or something happens, those online glasses poke you in the eye, we'll see you. Right? I'm going to do whatever I can for you clinically. But you purchase somewhere else, we're not going to be the one servicing you. Two separate businesses. They operate separately. Okay? You have to get that mentality in your head, but don't make clinical decisions based on retail outcomes. They are two separate things. I can't say that enough. You have to realize that and operate as such. You have to train your staff members to work differently in optical than you do when you're triaging a red eye over the phone. Right? They're selling an optical. This is what your insurance gets. This is how much we can get you out for. We can lower that price. You're making a sale. In the front desk clinic, you are taking care of that human being. I made the mistake in certain times, like, hey, we need to get your insurance. We need to get the copays. Yes, we do that. You go to the ER and you don't have your insurance, they're not seeing you. There's things that go on. I get it, right? But if you make that the emphasis, patients will say, and they did say to me, it seemed like you were more worried about my copay than my eyes in general. Well, we are running a business. We don't do things for free, but there's a way, there's a tone, there's a delicate way to handle those situations, right? Put the patient first. I think you should do it in optical and in the clinic. However, definitely do it in the clinic. If they legitimately think that you will take care of them, they're going to keep coming back and they'll get glasses somewhere else. Something will happen and they will come back to you. And if they're with you long enough, they're going to have red eyes. They're going to have dry eye. They're going to have their kids come in and have myopia management. But they'll trust your clinical care. They'll trust your brand, your practice. And you don't want your brand to be, we're going to nickel and dime you if you don't get from us. So chew on that. Take a step back. Look at your practices, your policies. Did you have one patient that burned you and you had a policy across the board that it doesn't apply to anyone, but whenever you go to buy a pair of glasses from you or get an exam, there's this litany of things you have to initial or sign off on? Be easy to work with, right? If you make it difficult, they can go online and get whatever they need. And honestly, if they're easy to work with, they'll accept that. We have a whole new generation that wants things online. They don't want to talk to people until they have an issue. And then they want that human touch. Be the human that they trust with their eye care. That's what I got for you guys. We'll have more for you next week. Where has the time gone? We are to the closing thought of the episode, and this is something I read that I thought was just good perspective. So, what a privilege to be tired from work you once prayed for. What a privilege to feel overwhelmed by growth you used to dream about. What a privilege to be challenged by a life you created on purpose. What a privilege to outgrow things you used to settle for. I think this is awesome because with growth, with life, wisdom, time, age, things get more complex. They get a little bit harder. But you wanted this. I prayed to have a bigger office, to have another doctor, to grow a business like the ones I saw out there. And a year into the bigger practice with an associate, yeah, I have bigger, more complex problems, but I'm happier than I've ever been. And there were days when it wasn't all pretty. It wasn't always guaranteed in my mind. But I showed up every day. I went to work because I knew this is what I wanted. And now that I kind of got it figured out, I'm looking for the next challenge, the next opportunity. And I'm going to have rough times. But I know it's what I want. Don't let a little turbulence make your accomplishments, your improvements, your growth a bad thing. Embrace it with all you got. Show up every day and know that we are living our dream and it's not guaranteed to go on to tomorrow. So make the most of the day that you have. That's what I got. Dr. Lily out.